welcome. You're watching Coffee and Crypto. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor. Welcome to the very first episode of the year 2022. All right, so what do we have for you today? Well, the new year, just like my blazer, has actually started on a bit of a red note. Crypto market led by Bitcoin, Ethereum crashed, and there has been some panic selling as well. On the program also today, we will bring you, well, this new concept called Metaverse Concerts. And why is this new? To just give you a glimpse of that. How did you spend your New Year's? Well, I was pretty much at home, and if you've been smart enough, you didn't go out and sort of get together in a massive gathering. But there were people who were even smarter, and they attended India's first ever Metaverse Concert. And if you, like me, have FOMO, well, don't worry. I got you a sneak peek into that show and also a chat with the singers and organizers of that Metaverse Concert. And that's not it. Also on the program, we've got for you Prime Minister Modi on crypto. You're hearing that right. And this time, as the Prime Minister has actually given out IIT degrees based on blockchain. It's the biggest sort of endorsement India could have asked for. We'll be speaking to IT professors and understanding from them how exactly did this come about. So, my God, lots to talk to you about in this week's episode. First, let's go get some coffee. All right, so the new year has got with it some good news, some bad news. Bad news when it comes to Omicron, also a bit red, as we've been saying it, on the global crypto market as well. They've suffered a lot in the past couple of days. Yesterday, the crypto markets, in fact, saw a massive sell-off by over 6.5% or so with just 24 hours, taking the total market cap to $2.07 trillion, really. Now, until a short while back, top cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, they had all declined around 3%, 7% over the past 24 hours. Popular meme coins like Doge, Shiba also dipped. Other major coins, the BNB, Solana, Cardano, XRP, all have seen a sharp decline in the market. Also in the last 24 hours, the DeFi sector seemed to have taken a slump as well. The Metaverse, however, is in the green. Now, why has this happened? It's basically because of two news items that have really dominated the market as well and the psyche of the people. One is, of course, what happened in the United States. The sell-off has come in response to US Federal Reserve indications of raising the interest rates. They're also planning to stop printing money, which will eventually make it more expensive to borrow in order to steady the economy. On the other hand, for crypto per se, Kazakhstan, the country known as the crypto world for accounting almost 18% of Bitcoin network's hash activity, they saw a nationwide internet shutdown. Now, are these two the only factors why market has dipped the way they have? Well, that's something we will be discussing with our experts now. So let's bring them on. Joining us today is Arun. He's the co-founder for Mohash. Also back with us on CC is Ajit Khurana, the founder of Genesis Network. Ajit and Arun, welcome to CC. Happy New Year to you guys as well. Well, not so happy news coming our way when it comes to the crypto markets. Arun, let's begin with you. And if you could state for our viewers your top two reasons on why markets are behaving the way they are.
You got the reasons bang on. It's basically the chatter within the Federal Reserve that maybe they would consider pulling liquidity out of the market. It is one of the options on the table they're considering. That is pretty much the primary reason. You could see that when crypto prices crashed, public markets also crashed in a substantial way in the last 2-3 days. So that's pretty much the dominant reason. The Kazakhstan thing could have had some impact on the Bitcoin price. That is one way to think about it. But broadly, you saw that in last year when China shut down mining last year. The prices of Bitcoin didn't get materially affected during that time because the transition was well managed when most of the miners moved from China to United States and other countries. So Federal Reserve still remains the dominant reason, in my view.
I see. Ajit, is that your view as well? I'm just trying to understand, every time we've seen a shake-up in the way US is behaving, every time we've seen a shake-up perhaps in the stock market as well. Are there any particular trends one needs to relate to when it comes to the crypto markets? Top 2 reasons for you?
I hate to perpetuate market superstitions, but the fact is that barring in 2020, January has always been a bad year for crypto.
That's
in
true.
fact, just 1 year ago, the crypto market or Bitcoin prices fell from 40,000 to 30,000, which is a 25% fall. We are currently at 20 for this fall. But having said that, despite what every guru in every market says, the one correlation between even non-correlated markets is liquidity. So even the impending lack of reduced liquidity by printing money, I think, is disaster for all markets, to be honest. And because the beta of the crypto markets is much higher, volatility is much higher, so crypto markets will suffer the most. I must point out that changes in mining, changes in number of miners, location of miners, etc., tends to have close to zero effect based on the algorithm, which adjusts itself within minutes. I say at least almost within hours. So the Kazakhstan factor, I don't think is a factor at all.
Right. I mean, China actually is a classic example of that, of what Ajit is saying as well. Let me go back to Arun then. Arun, there is also a significant increase in the number of addresses holding Bitcoin from 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoins between December beginning to December end. What does that tell us about the majority holdings over here? And what does that tell us about the ability of Bitcoin to recover also as this sort of wave comes in?
Right. So the number of addresses could be a function of a long-term secular growth and retail participation in crypto. There are, I mean, while you can say there's a bear market, or we can have all the conversations around, oh, there's a big slump, there is fundamental belief in the idea that crypto is digital gold. That's been proven over and over again for about 11 years now. So, and hence people are not, a Bitcoin investor is not shaken by the volatility that is attributed to that. So it's like long-term trends are more favorable. That's a likely reason. But I'm not a market expert, but these are just data that's clearly available in the public domain. I'm just presenting it. Yeah.
Okay. And your thought on how actually is there a pattern? Is there a trend in which stock markets versus crypto markets actually behave every time there is a global news of this magnitude?
So there are useful indicators for us to look at. If you look at India, NASDAQ, and crypto data. So what happened as a response to COVID was Federal Reserve increased its balance sheet from about $3 trillion to north of $8 trillion. That's more than 2x in liquidity as a response to COVID. Directly, what happened was Apple, which is a pretty, I mean, we know it's amongst the best run companies in the world. Its PE used to trend between 15 to 25, and it started trending at 45. Right. Everyone's PE ratio started doubling. I mean, roughly even well-run companies, and higher risk assets multiplied more. Bitcoin went up 5x, Ethereum went up 20x, and all of that stuff. So liquidity directly went way more into higher risk assets, and that still remains the dominant reason for all this growth.
I see. Interesting. Ajit, I want to come to you on the other factor that we discussed in the opening as well, the hash rate. And, there's a bit of a flip-flop here because one doesn't know how to read this news. The hash rate of Bitcoin has actually reached an all-time high. And that's good news for the network, right? And for those of our viewers who don't understand, a hash rate is actually, just understand this, the higher the hash rate, higher overall network integrity, meaning the network now stands stronger than before. But investors seem to have not noticed that at all. And the news has been all about what happened in Kazakhstan.
So, hash rate to a Bitcoin network is like GDP is to a nation.
Yes.
However, as we would agree that GDP, while an important indicator, the per capita or the distribution of GDP probably is more important. So what we are seeing in some of the bigger coins is that while the hash rate is increasing, it is also getting concentrated, which is against the ethos of the decentralization. This indicates why the majority of people, not necessarily the richest people, but the majority in terms of number of people are not necessarily reacting identically. And I must throw in one more point about correlating this with the addresses. While number of people are increasing in the Bitcoin as well as other cryptocurrency markets, there is a concept in wallets, and I hate to throw jargon here, which is called a heuristically determinant address, where what people are now doing is that every time they transact, they create a new address, as opposed to having an address which they use forever. And that is also causing an abnormal increase in the number of addresses.
I see. All right. So we got to tabulate sort of all of that. I have last 30 seconds, quick buy and sell call on Bitcoin from both of you. Ajit, you can go first.
Unlike your jacket, which is red in color, I will go with my file folder, which is green in color. And I think while there may be some more pain, I hate to time the market. But if you haven't yet entered the market, this is a good time to start averaging in.
Okay, Arun, your call?
Long-term buy for Bitcoin and Ethereum. The data is quite clear. They're following Lindy effect. Something that lasts longer will continue to last longer. So,
all right. All right, let's see. Is it going to dip further? And then we can go back to these gentlemen and say, how did you actually make that conclusion? Well, that's the time we have on the program. Thank you, Arun and Ajit, for joining us. Let's move on to the next segment now. And this is the one I'm really excited about. Now, remember I told you on how this New Year's Eve, a lot of people were sitting home. If you were intelligent, you were sitting at home. But then people who were even smarter got onto a Metaverse concert. Now, this is a concept we've talked about repeatedly on this program that happens internationally. But in India, how exactly did that unfold? Take a look.
Can you guys hear me, first of all?
Yes.
Woo! Yeah!
Oh,
sounds great.
Yeah, so
You
my
got
name
the
is
voice,
Dangwal.
the voice of an angel.
Thank you. So I'm 23 years old and I'm from India, and I've been releasing my own songs for about 1.5 years now. So I'm gonna do some songs for you guys today, and let's see how it goes.
Yeah! Woo!
Okay.
Thank you.
What do you guys say? All right. So. Just use Polygon. It does things again. Just use Polygon. It does things again.
It's Polygon. Well, that's the new song that we're all hearing on CZ today. And let's introduce the singer and the one who actually, the founder of Cryptic Entertainment, who actually made this entire thing possible. Litesh is with us. Also, Sparsh is with us, whose voice you were just hearing. Sparsh, I'll come to you in a minute. But Litesh, I have to first understand from you, please. Tell our people, how does this entire thing actually come into being? How many people participated? And, you know, the entire crew is quite excited about those moves. How does that happen? If I have joined a Metaverse concert and I want to do like a little catch-up song and a little dance and twist and little mumbo-jumbo of my own, how does it really, the whole thing come about?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much, Sonal, for having us here. First of all, I want to discuss the idea of why we did this concert.
Yeah.
So, as we have seen that post-COVID, the whole entertainment industry, especially the one who were into live shows, they faced the wrath of this COVID thing. And after this COVID, like there were no live shows and all, and artists generally earn through these live shows only. Because of the centralized nature of the streaming platforms, they get very little revenue. The majority of the chunk is with those centralized platforms only. So because of no live shows, artists were already facing this problem. So this was the first reason. The second reason was that already like we have been hearing that the global artists are performing, but we couldn't see any Indian artists coming up and performing for their own community in the metaverse.
Yeah.
So these two reasons were like, I guess, enough for us to find out the reasons, and then we said one day that, okay, let's give it a try. And finally we did it. If I talk about the
And
experience,
you did it quite nicely. There are some original songs on Polygon, for example, and then the rest popular numbers that were even taken up. Sparsh is with us. Sparsh is a creative person. I hear this so much from people that they love to feed on the energy of the audience, right? That's barely possible in a metaverse. But tell me, what was your experience of going through this entire process? I do like in the beginning, you can hear people hooting for you. There is some interaction. And where were you sitting when you were singing this? I just want to imagine you in perhaps, I don't know, you were in your room, in your pajamas, doing this concert for the whole world while they actually see you as a rock star on stage.
Yes, well, pretty exciting. It was it was a very new thing for me being in the metaverse. So it was very overwhelming at first. You know, whenever you put those VR glasses on, so you're actually into another world, but you've got your audio equipments in the real world as well. So I have to actually sing in a real mic, but I also have a mic in the metaverse as well. You know, that was like very challenging for me because I'm standing right here and I've got my VR glasses on and I don't know what's happening in the real world outside. But then I have to find my orientation for my mic, and in the real world my mic is here, but in the metaverse my mic is on the left side, so I can't find the orientation was very challenging.
Had a new meaning altogether for you.
Yes, that's true. And coming to the energy part, I think it was pretty amazing. Like I had not expected that it would be that real, but the people hooting, cheering whenever I asked them to raise their hands, and they were jumping as well. So that was very exciting.
That was okay. I love how you're saying you did get some sort of response from audiences. I just want to go back to Litesh. Then what next for Metaverse? Are we expecting more such parties, concerts to actually happen? We are in middle of a third wave. People want to go out, and is this an outlet you're looking at? We know recently we've had some top stars in the country sign up for this. We've got Deepika Padukone give us a little teaser into her own journey into the Metaverse. So what's lined up here?
So there are like multiple things that gonna happen this year. We will see, as of now, lot of companies, they are investing heavily in this metaverse technology in itself. And just like if we leave COVID thing as well, the tech companies going, you can say, global. And we need a place which is borderless now. Now no one wants to travel to one particular country just to attend one meeting.
You just transport them.
Yes, exactly. And one thing I would like to add, like if you haven't tried VR headset, then it's very hard to explain in the words. That is for sure. You need to have those VR headset. And yes, coming back to our plans. So basically now we are setting up a physical metaverse studio in Chandigarh itself, where the big artists will be coming and they will perform, because there are a lot of hassles. There are like hardware issues, there are internet connectivity issues, there are multiple issues.
Nice.
So just to solve that, what we are going to do is we are setting up a physical studio where like these artists can come and perform for their communities.
Right. It sounds very, very fascinating. I can't wait to watch and also hear these fascinating songs. That Polygon song is really stuck in my head now. Congratulations, you guys. Happy New Year to you. And we hope to see what comes up next.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Same to
much.
you.
Thank you so much.
All right, with that, let's slip into a break. But coming up on the other side, Prime Minister Modi has now given out degrees based on blockchain. It's all happening in my hometown, Kanpur. I'll tell you all the details in a moment from now. Welcome back. Now we're talking about Prime Minister Modi launching the blockchain-based digital degrees at the 54th convention ceremony, the convocation, ceremony of the IIT Kanpur. Now at that ceremony, the students were issued digital degrees through an in-house blockchain driver technology developed by the institute under the National Blockchain Project. Now, these digital degrees can be verified globally and are unforgeable. And the fact that the Prime Minister actually did that, launching the first in the country, is a huge step forward for India and a huge indication of how blockchain will be perceived, even conceived here in the country. So we thought we'll bring to you the man behind this entire project. We've got Professor Agarwal joining us now. Professor Maninder Agarwal is a professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Kanpur. Hello and welcome to CC, Professor. Just want to start by asking, how was this entire idea conceived? What was your conversation with Prime Minister's office on this?
The National Blockchain Project was conceived by the National Cybersecurity Coordinator Office 3 years ago. They gave us the mandate to develop a national blockchain, particularly to be used for e-governance services. And we have developed this national blockchain framework, and we also have incubated a company called Kruben Foundation. This startup is now deploying this developed technology in several places. One of them is the Karnataka state, where the land records of Karnataka state are being brought onto the blockchain. We have already deployed this in a couple of districts, and the rollout in the remaining district is under process.
Right, that's fantastic. Karnataka, several other states like Maharashtra also doing some fantastic work and using blockchain to solve a lot of problems there. But it does help in several other ways, right? Like lowering cost, for example. What problems did this solve for you?
For the degree, we are not only using the blockchain technology, but in addition, we are also using what is called a self-sovereign identity system. This system allows a user complete control over the information that he or she has. In this case, the degree of the person. So this degree actually resides in a wallet on the smartphone of the user. There is a blockchain which contains the public key of the issuer, which in this case is IIT Kanpur, or issuer of the degree, as well as the template under which the degree is given.
I see.
Now, whenever a user wishes to verify his or her credential to any other entity, which we call verifier, then the verifier first goes to the blockchain, downloads the public key of the issuer as well as the template, and then interacts with the user to get details of the degree, verify the digital signature of the issuer, verify that the template is correct. This ensures that degree is unforged. As well as it gives the control to the user to share whatever parts or whatever fields of the degree that he or she wishes to share with the verifier, and the process can go between the verifier and user without involving any third party.
Yeah, imagine no more sort of placing your mark sheets and your degrees, and you can, if you want, on the walls of your house, but actually carry it around on your phone as well. Thank you, Professor, so much for your time. I'm afraid that's all the time we have on the program today. But there is lots more coming up on the show in the coming week as well. Apart from lots of explainers that we've got lined up for you, a huge new way to look at crypto in this new year 2022. That's it from us today. Bye-bye for now.